Hello and welcome to another edition of Let's Play WWE 2015. We are, I would say about 8 days away, or more like 12 days away from our final pay-per-view of 2014 in TLC, which certain feuds will end on that night. But as far as matches, the only match that has been rumored to take place on that broadcast has to do with the World Heavyweight Champion Brock Lesnar and plans that Triple H will reveal this Monday night on Raw for the Beast Incarnate. But either way, let's just jump in right out of the gate. Let me just change this pretty fast. Here we go. Okay. If you don't know why I did what I did, you'll see why I did what I did in 1 second. But without further ado, let's get underway with Smackdown tonight as we kick off with the pre-show match, Tyler Breeze up against Zack Ryder. The reason Tyler Breeze is on the pre-show is I'm holding him off until I'm ready for him to debut officially on the main roster on make his television debut. I'm holding off his television debut until I'm ready for him to make his TV debut. And speaking of people to make their TV debut, Kevin Owens made his TV debut last Monday night when he cost John Cena his match against Randy Orton this past Monday live on Raw. But either way, Zack Ryder comes up short against Tyler Breeze, and Ryder throws a temper tantrum of sorts following the match, this will lead to a heel turn for the Long Island Iced Tea. Why? Because much like people say John Cena's gimmick is stale, much like people say other people's gimmicks are stale, Zack Ryder's gimmick was as stale as anyone's on the roster, and he needed to be repackaged and reinvent himself. Or it's like Triple H said when before Seth Rollins turned heel, either you adapt or perish. Ryder had to adapt, or he would have just been another victim of spring cleaning, and that's exactly why I had Zack turn heel. And now we jump into Smackdown right here with the opening segment being John Cena trying to get an answer, trying to get a reason from Kevin Owens as to why the current WWE, the newest WWE superstar, attacked or distracted Cena during his match this past Monday on Raw. But Cena isn't interrupted by Kevin Owens. He's interrupted by his old rival, Seth Rollins. Seth says to Cena that he can't stand the fact it isn't about Kevin Owens. He just can't stand the fact that he lost to Randy Orton because it's such a foreign idea that Randy actually did something right. Once again, Seth Rollins, from this time until I feel it necessary not to, Seth will be causing tension and planting the seeds for dissension within the ranks of the Authority. And now you might wonder why Seth does not have Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble. Well, I'm holding them off for right now. But just that one statement that he said, that Randy doesn't know how to do anything right, well, you had to figure it would cause the Viper to make his way out to the ring and go face to face with Rollins and his longtime rival, John Cena. And Cena throws it out saying to Randy, are you gonna take care of him? Are you gonna take care of him, or do you leave that for mommy and daddy too? Cena, we settled our score, don't start a new one. And me and Seth will have our day in the sun very soon. Because Seth, you keep running your mouth. You won't be the future of WWE anymore, because I will end your career. So watch it. Long story short, this segment basically leads to the announcers talking up Kevin Owens and John Cena's issues, Randy Orton and Seth Rollins' issues, and also setting up the main event, because they tell us that the main event tonight is Seth Rollins versus John Cena. As Cena is keeping himself busy after he returned to WWE following his hiatus after the mystery attack back in November. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then click here, click up in the right corner, and you could go back and watch the show that Cena and Orton both were taken out on. It is also known as the show before the hacker showed up for the first time. But that's beside the point. If you want to go back and watch it, the link's in the top right corner of the video. And you could do that now. But if not, let's continue with Smackdown right now as Natalya joins the commentary following after we return from a commercial break. We see Natalya join the commentary position with Byron and Jerry for the upcoming contest, which is Nikki versus Emma, which I honestly thought was going to get better, but as you can tell, Emma and Nikki don't seem to click. But either way, Nikki won the match. But in true Nikki fashion, she attacks Emma and beats her into the canvas, not literally, figuratively, but she just adds more takes it a step further with Emma and causing more I don't really know what the word is, but either way, Emma's being assaulted Emma's being downright assaulted by Nikki in the ring, which leads to Natalya leaving the commentary position and coming to the aid of Emma. To stop Nikki from inflicting even more damage on the young WWE diva. And this leads to a face-off between Nikki and Natalya as Nikki leaves the ring and heads up the ramp. But just as Nikki thinks she's escaping, AJ's music begins to play, and AJ stands on the ramp. Nikki seemingly is caught between a rock and a hard place as AJ and Natalya face off with Nikki caught in the middle. I know this would have been perfect if Nikki was Divas champion, but either way, I think it's perfect being Natalya realizes, because here is when Natalya realizes that she has two challengers capable of taking her title away. Speaking of challengers, Dean Ambrose faced Goldust recently, and now he's up against his brother, Stardust. I know you might say Dean Ambrose is probably the most misused talent thus far. You're wrong. Dean does have a direction. It's just not been noticed yet. And we move forward with the Wyatts and the Wyatt family cuts another mysterious promo, but Bray does say that very soon everyone will find out who. Well, he doesn't say it directly, where it's clear that soon we'll find out who Bray, the Wyatt family, have been talking about, but he does subtly say that very soon we'll find out who the Wyatts are targeting with their promos. And now we move backstage. Dolph Ziggler walks into Stephanie McMahon's office, and Stephanie just had a kind of puzzled to see Dolph in her office, asks, why is he here? And Dolph basically comes right out and says, Steph, back at Survivor Series, I was screwed. I was screwed by The Miz because he cheated to get me. He cheated to win. And yet now he's ducking me and ducking me and ducking me and not giving me another shot at the Intercontinental title. I want my shot against The Miz, and I want it tonight. Well, Dolph, Steph answered, Miz isn't here. But I'll give you a shot against somebody who has thus far been electric here in the WWE since his debut in WWE. Tonight you can face Sami Zayn, and if you beat Sami, then maybe, just maybe, you'll get your title shot against The Miz at TLC. Dolph seems pleased as he walks out. And now we move to the next match with Rusev going up against Santino, and basically this is nothing more than Rusev dominating Santino because Rusev is extremely pissed off and frustrated after what's gone on the last 7 days between him and Rob Van Dam. And now we move to Lana grabbing a microphone following the quick elimination, basically, or the quick demolishing of Santino Marella. Lana basically comes out and says that the only reason why Rusev lost his United States title is because Rob Van Dam surprised the Bulgarian Brute. The Rusev was not able to be prepared to face Rob Van Dam. Rusev says that the match was a fluke, and that once Rusev is back in the ring with Rob Van Dam, it won't happen again, and Rusev will become the United States champion once more. Because Rusev is extending his rematch clause for the United States title at TLC. And Stephanie has, because she owed us one, gave us the ability to choose the stipulations for the match. And Rob, you will find out what the stipulations for your title match are very soon, or is very soon. Watch your back, champ, and keep that title warm, because we're coming for it. Now we move back to the broadcast position, where Byron and Jerry talk about The Miz and the fact that the Intercontinental Champion is not here in Canada tonight. Think about this. If you saw my last episode of Raw, then you know why Miz wouldn't be in Canada. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, top right corner, there's a link to the last episode of Raw. There is a link to the last episode of Raw that you can see right now. That you can see right now. If you don't know what I'm talking about, but also this is when Byron and Jerry introduced The Miz, who is here via satellite, as Miz is at WWE headquarters right now. And they talk about well, Byron first asks The Miz, why aren't you here at Smackdown tonight? Byron, I said it last week on Raw, if you were listening. I said it on Raw that I would never step foot in a waste pit, a cesspool like Canada, especially in British Columbia. I am an A-lister, and those idiots in Canada don't deserve to see me live. Because the only way they deserve to see me live is if they're paying me. Because I deserve more. I don't get paid enough by WWE to go to Canada. I get barely paid enough to go to some of the places that we go to in the United States, let alone Canada. I will say this, Byron, that I'll be watching Dolph's match tonight, because the only way Dolph was going to get a title shot against me is if he went to and did what he exactly did, and that is beg the authority. Because, Dolph, if you want a title shot against me, I'll prove to you again that I am the greatest Intercontinental Champion in WWE history. And not just that, but the most must-see champion, period. Because I'm The Miz. And I'm better than you. This interview's over. And we move from there to Dolph Ziggler versus Sami Zayn, and Dolph gets the win over Sami in a solid match for Sami's only second match in WWE. Either way, solid match for Dolph going into what is like. I'll give you the rumor, or I'll give you basically the definitive answer that Dolph will be going against The Miz at TLC for the Intercontinental title. And this match is a good momentum booster for the show-off. And after the match, Dolph is celebrating. Sami walks over and offers his hand to Dolph as a sign of respect, and they both shake hands. And to show that that Dolph appreciates the effort and respects Sami for what he was able to do for the match that they just had. And now we move to the next match, which is Natalya against Tamina. And Natalya gets the win over AJ's bodyguard, Tamina, in, well, basically a match to show that Nikki and AJ aren't the only ones that work. And now Stephanie does not come out. I just didn't feel like giving the announcers more time. You know, putting another announcer segment where we go back to the booth. But, you know what? Screw it. Let's have Stephanie come out. And Stephanie announces the match for TLC as it is Natalya versus AJ versus Nikki for the WWE Divas title in a triple threat match. That's right. Nikki, AJ, and Natalya go are all getting their opportunity to show what the Divas can do in WWE and why maybe, just maybe, they belong. They belong in the conversation for people who can sell tickets, sort of like they became down in NXT later on in 2015. But now, SmackDown isn't over yet because Bad News Barrett has his Bad News Challenge, and this week's challenge is accepted by R-Truth. And Truth actually beats Barrett. You might wonder, why the heck are you letting Truth beat Bad News Barrett? Well, look, bad news for Barrett. Bad News Barrett and R-Truth are gonna feud, and people might ask, R-Truth is old, why are you letting him feud? I'm not just gonna job him out. What can I make more money doing? Jobbing him out or giving him a feud and a reason to compete in pay-per-view on a pay-per-view or two and get other people over in place of him? You know? Because he's an upper mid-carder. It's not like he's a mid-carder where I could just make him lose to, a couple matches or two, and then all of a sudden he's a, lower mid-carder and I can release him or whatever. Make money with him instead of just, jobbing him out to Tyler Breeze and Kevin Owens or whatever. I'm not saying I won't eventually. I'm just saying right now it's better for the company if I let him and Barrett feud for a few months. And speaking of Barrett, of course he's not going to take the win lying down. R-Truth is very happy about the win, and Barrett attacks him from behind, beating him down, and after Barrett's done beating him down, Barrett looks like the one who won, and not R-Truth. But either way, Barrett's Bad News Challenge finally came up short against R-Truth. And if you don't know what the Bad News Challenge is, it is Barrett's weekly open challenge that he's had on SmackDown since he returned at the beginning of November. Yes, I know, you wouldn't have known that because SmackDown was not a thing for most of the time in November, but now you know, just in time for it to end. And now we shift gears back to the broadcast position with Byron and Jerry. Okay. We shift back with Byron and Jerry as Byron and Jerry talk up the main event between Rollins and Cena, and we end the match we just saw between R-Truth and Barrett, and the lack of sportsmanship, I guess you could say. Byron brings up the lack of sportsmanship from Barrett, and Jerry makes the point that this is pro wrestling. Sportsmanship can take a backseat at any time. And now we move to the next match, or the next segment rather. Seth Rollins is once again running his mouth about Randy Orton and Randy Orton's lack of success, totally ignoring the fact that Randy's been injured the last month, and Cena, the fact that he can't accept the idea that he isn't the face of WWE anymore, and that belongs to the undisputed future of this company, Seth Rollins. And just as Seth's just as we think Cena's gonna come out, the lights go out and the Wyatts show up. Ignore that below the Dean Ambrose Wyatt family thing, because I changed my mind. Let's put it that way. I changed my mind, and this is happening. Bray Wyatt and the rest of the Wyatts come out, and they face off with Seth Rollins. And now John Cena, not to be upstaged, comes out And now John Cena is facing off with Bray Wyatt. If you remember, go back to the beginning of 2014, the feud that Bray Wyatt and John Cena had going into WrestleMania and post-WrestleMania, in many respects, is what derailed the momentum for Wyatt in the first place. But unlike Wyatt's face-off with Seth Rollins, Wyatt's face-off with John Cena does not just have nobody in between them. Bray Wyatt and John Cena, Rowan and Harper, and two referees and some agents jump in between John Cena and Bray Wyatt to stop John Cena and Bray from getting basically going at it with each other. All Bray does is smile, standing in the ring, staring at John Cena as Smackdown comes to a close. Oh, dang it, I double-clicked. Let's ugh. Not a good show. Not a good show, especially with the fact that we just did really good. We've done really well with, Raw and Smack. Well, I'll tell you one reason why the show wasn't very good. The segment with Harper, well, not really the segments, so much as the main event, because in this game, the main event is counted as the last match and is counted for 70% of the overall rating. And in many respects, Dean Ambrose versus Stardust or Dolph Ziggler versus Sami Zayn would have been a better main event, because I chose to not have Seth Rollins versus John Cena happen again. And I instead chose to have this happen, Chaos and Questions and SmackDown, instead of a decisive ending with Cena and Rollins rather, and I ended up paying for it. If I had to wager a guess, I would say it was probably gained 13 in one region and gained 13 in popularity and lost 16. I would probably wager to guess that is around what the popularity decrease was. But that just means we have to come back on Raw with a better show. But either way, let me know in the comment section what you thought the best part of the show was, the worst. You know what? I'm not going to say that this week. I'm going to say, let me know what you thought of the ending. Do you think that ending SmackDown the way I did with Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins facing off, and then Bray Wyatt and John Cena facing off, do you think that was a good way to end SmackDown? If not, let me know how I could have done it better. Let me know what you would have done to end it involving those three people. And let me know down in the comment section what you would have done with those three people and how you would have ended SmackDown if you would have ended different than I would. But other than that, let me know. Like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content just like this that you can only find right here at Wrestling Express. And don't you worry, at least in one video, I will eventually get the outro done to where I'm not forgetting it and doing a different outro every week and stumbling upon my words. Till next time, later.